जगवन्दना शङ्कर सुवन भवानी नन्दन गाये गणपति जगवन्दना
Sridhar. Thanks everyone for joining us today. So we at SSP, our mission is to promote Shirdi Sai Baba's teachings, engage in various community and charitable activities with his teachings. And most of our charitable activities are around feeding the hunger, sandwich seva, homeless shelter feeding, and rest of the other activities. And community activities involve free language, music, dance, yoga, educational classes, free notary, dental services, and everything. So we help to unite the community around us and help them to actually promote and raise awareness of Baba's teachings. So today we have Sridhar Tallpaka. Sridhar's background is he's born in Srisailam, India. Sridhar Tallpaka is from the lineage of the Tallpaka Namacharya, great saint who is revered for his 32,000 hymns on Tirupati Venkateshwara Swami. He is the 12th generation descendant of the saint. He is devoted to Sadguru Sri Sivananda Murtikaru, a Mahayogi who strived for the revival of Bharatiya and Sanatana Dharma in India. During his recent journey, he has done a lot of activities to go ahead and promote the Hinduism in India. Sridhar has been keen and interested in aspects of spiritual matter and materialism, creator and creation, and has also close association with Shirdi Sai Baba. So we would love to invite him to have a great discourse here. It was going to be an interactive session. So if you need to ask a question, please do raise a hand, and one of our volunteers will help you with a mic. And let's get started. With further ado, Sridhar Tallpaka. So given California fire, I would want all of you to please stand for a minute. Sairam everyone. Sure.
Thank you, Satish ji, and even when there's a mic, I need a mic.
So, you want to
That there's a hissing noise coming from.
Sign up everyone. Thank you, Satish ji, and all the organizers of SSP for having called me here. This is my first time to this temple and to this state, and I'm glad I'm here. So the objective of this discussion instead of a discourse, is more about understanding the aspects of God, understanding the aspects of creation, understanding where we stand in this whole journey, and what we need to do in order to fulfill the purpose of our life through Baba's teachings. So that's the high level agenda that I had in mind. And in terms of the flow, I could start with a topic and feel free to ask questions, because I would like to ideally address what you have in mind instead of what I have in mind. That way there is a value to this discussion. That's good. So, I do pray to Baba that let him interfere in this discussion, correct us when
That's
required.
good. That's good, guys.
Stop if we are discussing something incorrect, and also add to our discussions. I'm sure all of you have read TSridhar and maybe multiple times, not once, and understood it very nicely. And I do have certain points from TSridhar which I thought I should highlight and kind of discuss what the in-depth meaning of that would be point by point. So before we come there, about aspects of God and godliness. So fundamentally, there are three primary aspects of God which all of us should be aware of, and we should also understand what He does and what He doesn't do. That's the first topic that I wanted to cover. And as I said, please stop me wherever you feel you have anything in mind. So there are three fundamental aspects of God. For some of you it may be a repetition, but I'll still say it. So the first aspect of God is the witness principle. Witness means sakshi. He's a witness to our actions, and he does not participate in our activities. So if we are getting a promotion in office, he'll watch. If we are getting fired from office, he'll watch. If we are very happy, he'll watch. If we are very sad, he'll watch. And he does not interfere at all. That's one aspect of God. Now, why does that happen? That principle of God exists because there is something called karma. So if there is no witness, there is no case in a court of law. In a similar manner, if you are doing something today, it needs to have a certain result. By evening, by tomorrow, by next week, or by next birth. So there's somebody who's watching our thoughts, our speech, our actions, our behavior, and also noting down. So that principle of God is responsible for giving us the results of karma. It also means that prayers do not go empty. There's nothing called an empty prayer. So if somebody says that I have prayed but it didn't happen, God is not listening to me, that is incorrect. It didn't happen because of maybe other reasons, but not that He's not listening to you. And the second principle of God is the dynamic principle of God. Dynamic principle means He's communicating, He's responding, He's involving, and He's actively taking part in our day-to-day life. That is a dynamic principle of God, or active principle. That principle is the one that hears to our prayers and responds accordingly. The form of the first principle, which is the Sakshi, how does it look like? Does it have a shape and size and form? Yes, it does. It's in a light form. Where is it? It is everywhere, plus inside us. So he's so close to us that it is inseparable. He is inseparable to us, which means that on a Sunday evening, if you're sitting back and you don't have energy to go to temple or puja place at your place, you just need to close your eyes and ask for what you want, and he's listening. The dynamic principle of God has a form. He's given hands, legs, face, more than 2 arms, and certain weapons that protect us, and punishment required. That's the dynamic principle of God. Does he really have a form? He may not have a form, but that form has been given so that it is convenient for us to pray. We need to relate to God. We cannot relate to light. So we have given it a form, and it has graciously accepted that this is the form that I will respond. So it's not, God is not a man-created aspect. That form has been given, and he has accepted that. So that's the second category which responds to our prayers. Combination of the first category, witness, and the dynamic principles runs the universe. This has to be constantly remembered. So the two aspects, dynamic and the witness principles, together runs the universe. For us, universe means our life, our family, our social life, our profession. These two principles are constantly involved. One is watching, the other is responding. Now there is a third principle of God which is called the static principle. Witness, dynamic and static. Static principle of God does not do anything. It's not even watching. It's not even responding. It's not even grace. It's not even love. What it is something beyond all these things. So when you say grace, when you say love, when you say protection, all these things are material attributions to God. These are emotions, these are things which are required for our day-to-day living. But the static principle is outside the creation. So these three principles of God need to be understood in order to live a complete life. Guru or a Sadguru is somebody who has all these three principles in him. And that is Shirdi Baba, who is available here. He is watching, he is responding, and there is a side of him which is silent. I'll take a pause here. Any questions? Because if this is understood in the right spirit, I think we'll go places. Yeah.
So when you are saying that the dynamic part of it, when you are saying that we have given the attributes, we have given a form. So what is that angle when we say rishis have visualized the yantra, mantra, and through that they have given a particular form for each deity. So isn't it is his will that he appeared in a particular form as that particular deity?
Right. So that's a beautiful question. So when we say we have given it a form, who has given it a form is the question. Rishis have given. In agreement with God.
Yes.
So rishis are mantra kartas, in the sense that they are the creators of God. Gods are mantra swarupas. So when a mantra is there, take any mantra. The relevant aspect of God corresponding to that mantra is in that mantra. It has a combination of bijaksharas and certain other qualities embodied in aksharas. Now, Maharshis are our great-grandfathers who came to earth not on account of karma, but in order to help the future humans and other people who would occupy this land. They have figured everything out, put that in a capsule form, that knowledge piece, and given it to us. They knew that we need a form in order to understand God better. And they also knew that once we understand God in a form, someday we will think of the formless God, which is the true form of the God. So, Maharshis have, in agreement with God, created that database of information for us, left it for their progeny, which is us, which means we are the inheritors of that wealth of knowledge. So, it is not an empty create, somebody imagined something and created. No, it is not that. The God, the formless God, when requested, he gave a certain form to Maharshis in their tapas, and that form has been scriptured and given to us.
So then, the attribute, the various forms of God is what we have. So why has that, when there is a Parabrahma Swarupa, why this many different varieties, and each of them have specific attributes and specific
Right.
properties?
Right. So to run a company, we need a CEO, we need a few VPs, we need managers, we need, if it's a software company, we need coders, testers, project managers, all kinds of people. We need a doorman also, and we need a receptionist. So to run a small company of, let's say, 500 people, we need such a big paraphernalia. To run the universe, we need many. So it's not that all gods are same. No, not all gods are same. The one CEO became many gods. So all are not one. One is all. One became all. The Nirguna Parabrahma, the formless God that you talk about, which is outside of the creation, when it created the universe, it became many gods in KBC. So which means the tattva, the ultimate knowledge of the formless God, is in every God form. But no two gods are same when it comes to material aspects of life. As an example, if we have a certain physical disease, we take tablets. If I have leg pain, I cannot take a tablet which will help my headache to cure. I need to take the relevant tablet that is suitable for that. So, from a material life and living point of view, no two gods are similar. But from a tattva, from a knowledge point of view, all the gods are same. So that's why it was required, in order to run the universe and help the mankind, that Nirguna Parabrahma became Saguna in many forms.
So we are worshipping so many gods, every religion and different gods they supply, like Shiva, Krishna, Latu, Sridhar, like that.
They are made available for the convenience of people, depending on their samskaras. So there are certain samskaras that I have, and they define my likes and dislikes. My samskara may make me draw towards Krishna, and somebody's samskara will make him draw towards Rama. But eventually all of them will take him to the ultimate. All these are made available so that it suits the individual designs of people. That's the reason so much of availability is there. And that is in a way tolerance. So variety is made available in order for the humans to connect with each one of them. It's like a menu card of food available. We pick and choose what we like that. That's one way of looking at it. The other is, depending on the stage of our evolution, of the soul inside. This is not the first time we are born. We are born several times. Depending on the state and stage of evolution, we are drawn to a certain form of God. So that form will take us to the next step. Like in a school, if we are in kindergarten, The relevant teacher will come, teach that lesson and go, and we pass. We get into grade 1. Like that till we finish our PhD, somebody or the other in a form will keep coming and teaching us. That's the reason we have so many things.
That's only our reliable in only our Hinduism. Other religions are not there. That's why they are worshipping one God only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christianity and Islam. They have only one God.
Yeah, so there are certain fundamental differences without making this a controversial topic. There are certain assumptions that certain cultures have made. In the culture that was born out of Sanatana Dharma, called Hinduism, they understood with experience that there is reincarnation. There are multiple births. There's no, it's not one single birth. And there is a certain intelligence behind each birth, why it comes, what kind of birth can come tomorrow, or is there no birth at all. But in other cultures, they have discounted that piece and said that there is no second birth. It's just one life that you have. You have to live it to the full and all those things. Since there is an aspect of liberation in Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma, there was a need for Guru to come and teach. If there is no aspect of liberation or moksha, you don't need a Guru. You had a question.
Yeah, so when we have so many gods and we get exposed to by various forms and practices and whatnot, it creates a deviation in mind, right? Like it diverts and doesn't, like, to reach one, it tries to get into everything, right? It doesn't focus. Why is that? We know our minds are always thinking in so many directions, right? Even if you want to pray to Baba, so many things come there. So when so many forms are there, it creates that diversion in that mind, like, okay, it's not one, it's many, right? But still it does not focus.
Right. It also says that in any direction he is available. Wherever your mind is getting diverted, there is God. It's like gas stations across the highway, right? If you have a choice to pick between Shell and all kinds of stations that you want, and then within each of them there is certain price and quality. So none of them should be looked at as a deviation. Everything should be looked at as a progression. It depends on the state of evolution, as I said. That confusion is also by design, so that we look for a particular form in order to get our focus. A lot of us are drawn towards Baba, and we are able to be there. Though there is a worship, there is respect to other gurus and gods, there is a certain focus that is available to one form, and that form can take us to the next level.
And we need that maturity to understand. Is that correct? We need that maturity to say, okay, this is where I'm attracted. But for a common man, it's just another cycle, another separation.
Right.
So probably are we born with that so that we can get attracted to that?
Yeah, so we are born with that samskara in order to get attracted to a certain divinity. But whenever there is a confusion, there is a Guru Tattva that comes and explains us that there is a common thread among all these gurus and gods that you need to focus on. But to focus on the common thread, you need a form. So these clarifications is a built-in system within the divine constitution, where wherever you're getting trespassed, there is a way to bring you back to that. So this is by design, this is by sanskaras. Each place you go to, you're exhausting certain balance of your karma, exhausting certain aspects of sanskaras. And eventually the highway road will come.
So how does one develop focus and concentration?
Okay. That's a very deep question. It's very simple, but it's very deep also. So the quality of mind, right, is not to focus. from a yogic point of view, the mind is created in a manner which doesn't let it focus. So, mind will not let you focus. But there are certain practices with which you can disassociate yourself with the mind and stay focused. So some kind of meditation, some kind of pranayama, some kind of ekagrata, single-mindedness towards any choice of your God or Guru, if you pick, that will help. It's not an overnight process, but within a matter of 6 months to 1 year, we all can focus.
Supposing the focus is on surrender,
Okay?
total surrender. So how does one progress towards it?
Okay. So the goal is surrender, and how do we go towards that? Yes.
The recent controversy, there is a woman is the goddess of the universe. There is some temples women should not worship the god and so men should go. What is the difference? That is the thing. And I
And that discussion is called exchange of ignorance. One person says something, the other person says something. Basically, we have so much of time that instead of focusing on what we need to do as individuals, people tend to question that. It's like, in one sentence, I'll finish that. It's like at your place, you have defined certain rules. In this house, in this place, puja will happen. In this place, there's a place of rest. In this place, there's a restroom, things like that. If somebody comes and says that, no, in the puja place, I would like to put up a bed and sleep there, it's incorrect. So that's a cultural aspect. That's an aspect that was a part of the original sankalpa of the temple, which should have been respected. So Supreme Court is supposed to be a dharmapeetham, apart from being a nyayapeetham, right?
yes,
It's not just a nyayapeetham, it's supposed to be a dharmapeetham. So that is kind of, again, controversial, but we should respect what the temple authorities, several...
Dharmapeta is doing, not for detriment, not for any nyayasthan. There is no Dharmapeta is what their religion,
Yeah.
it depends upon their
Right.
the environment and the place of this.
Right. True. So coming to the topic of surrender, I do have, as I said, some notes on my mobile from Baba's teachings, which I thought we will cover, but in a short answer, what are we surrendering? When we say surrendering,
Surrendering is
what are we really surrendering?
surrendering ourselves.
How are we surrendering ourselves? Is it the physical aspect? Is it the mental aspect? Is it the ego? What is ego? Any thoughts? What is ego?
Pride in oneself and what one has achieved. Ego.
That's a false ego, right? And then there is a real ego. If you think you are the body, I, that is ego. It's called asmita.
That is the main ego.
That's the main ego. But from a surrender point of view, it is not possible for complete surrender on day one, or year one, or life one, when we start thinking about surrender. Partial surrender is possible. But to start with, all of us can partially surrender. And what are we surrendering? We are surrendering the final outcome of our effort to a chosen form of God, in this case Baba. When you surrender to Baba, what you are telling him is that I have this desired outcome and I will put my efforts towards achieving those desires, but the final judgment is yours. You say this truthfully to yourself and to him, and whatever the outcome comes, you have to take it as his final decision and do not question it. That is surrender.
If that is the case, there won't be any issues at all.
That doesn't mean that there won't be any issues.
Okay.
Typically, Baba is very interesting.